Good morning. This is Jovine from Behind the Markets. Today's Thursday, the 22nd of August. Wow, we are rounding third base and heading for home on the month of August. Today, I want to talk about Johnson & Johnson. This week, they won the very first chemotherapy-free treatment for lung cancer. And the FDA approved a drug called RYBREVANT, RYBREVANT. I'm spelling that out in case, God forbid, you need to know. In combination with LAZCLUZE, LAZCLUZE, for first-line treatment in adults with non-small cell lung cancer. By the way, it was approved for patients that had the EGFR mutation in their non-small cell lung cancer. And I love stories like this. There are a lot of interesting things here to unpack, a lot of which we talk about at Biotech Insider, really this revolution away from chemotherapy to more custom-based drugs based on DNA and proteins, et cetera, et cetera. And remember, never forget, chemo is a word for chemicals. So chemotherapy is chemical therapy. And chemical therapy is based on drugs that are many decades old, some of them discovered in Nazi Germany, some of them discovered in the Soviet Union. So what we're seeing here is a move away from these chemical therapy drugs, which is like dropping dung bombs on your immune system. I mean, think Dresden, World War II, when they just dropped bombs all over the city and just destroyed it, trying to target a few different areas. Now, these are more like the new class of drugs that are coming up for cancer are more like precision-guided missiles. They're just going right after the thing itself. And this is a great example of that. Non-small cell lung cancer is the leading cause of all cancer deaths worldwide. And this is one of those cancers that both smokers and non-smokers get, which I've discovered painfully when a friend of mine died from it. Now, the EGFR mutation impacts about a third of these cases. And just to understand what the EGFR mutation is, EGFR is a protein on the surface of cells that just divides. And cancer basically is the growth of abnormal cells in excess. Just divide. They don't stop dividing. And EGFR is a protein. And what this does basically is J&J's new drug is it inhibits this. It stops it. It kind of, to use a simple term, it's like a kill switch. It turns off this from dividing. So it's really custom tailored for this kind of cancer. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is this is improved as a first-line treatment. Remember something. If you, God forbid, people who get cancer, if they get cancer, they treat it, that's first in line. The first time you get it, the first time you treat it. Sometimes people relapse. That's a second line. The cancer comes back. So you have second line treatments approved for that. Sometimes, again, the cancer comes back, then you have a third line treatment. So basically, this is a first-line treatment, which is where you get most of the patients, most of the customers, to put it in business terms, as distasteful as that sounds, but most access to patients as a first-line treatment. And those of you who subscribe to Biotech Insider know that we like drugs, of course, first line, it's like you're first in line to get access to the biggest amount of patients. It goes, first in line's the biggest, second in line's the second biggest, and third in line, you get the smallest patient population. So we tend to focus on drugs that have that big access, first in line treatment, because that's where the biggest market is, frankly, as an investor. But we've also, with Biotech Insider, we focused on drugs that are third in line, meaning they're the third option after somebody relapses, and then they hopefully move to second and then move to first. They just march up, become first in line, get access, and a lot of the stocks that we recommend, or several of them at least, have this kind of potential. And it should be stated that this new treatment cuts risk of death by 30%. So the headline is RYBREVANT plus in combination with LAZCLUZE is finally approved for people with non-small cell lung cancer and who have the EGFR mutation, which again is a protein on top of the cell, and this kind of switches off that protein. So what does this mean for J&J stock? J&J stock has been kind of a laggard this year, bouncing in a range, just bouncing in a range. It's not really doing much. Earnings are down, sales are up, sales are looking better. But I've added this to my watch list because this drug has the potential to be very, very big, and I will keep you informed as this story evolves. Have a great day.